Okay, now to the good stuff. My book clubs. Okay, I started with this because there was a need. You know, for my context, teaching ESOL was only 2 hours, one lesson a week, which, like I've explained before, is just simply not enough. And my learners were asking me for more. They wanted to do something else. I'm really busy. I haven't got time to sort of prepare other lessons, extra stuff outside of the class. The book club seemed a good way for me to start something where they could do most of the work. I could meet them for 1 or 2 hours a week, which I do on a Monday evening now. And then we'd just come together, discuss the books that they've done, that they've read, and then swap the books with each other at the end. If they like what they've heard, they would choose that book, or they'd go and buy another book from Cambridge. I didn't exclusively use Cambridge to start with. I gave them a selection of readers. This is really important. This is going to sound like such a plug for Cambridge. I gave them a selection of readers to choose, take home and read. And when they came back, they all chose the Cambridge readers. Okay. The difference is, and one thing that came back to me from the adults, the adult learners that I teach, was that there's no comprehension questions. There's nothing in the Cambridge readers. They're just books, just to read. Reading is an end in its own sort of result. It's the result in itself. Is that me? What's going on there? Okay. Whereas the comprehension questions, people like Philip Crowsley say comprehension questions in the books. Some of the readers that claim to be readers are actually so full of comprehension questions, they're actually promoting intensive reading rather than extensive reading. Okay, and he actually says that they actually test for incomprehension, not comprehension, which is quite interesting. But basically, my Café clubs, they integrate extensive reading. They get people socialising together. It gets good, meaningful conversation and purposeful language learning, which we'll have a look at in just a moment. It does require effort and enthusiasm from the teacher. I believe to get any extensive reading programme integrated into your course takes a lot of enthusiasm from the teacher. Okay, it's no good thinking, right, I think I'll do this, and you get some books, give them to the students. Not much is going to happen. Okay, you have to encourage, you have to believe in this. And there is enough research out there that is really worth looking at, that really provides a good, strong argument for extensive reading. Okay. And it takes patience. It takes time. It is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Quality materials, it's really important that you've got good, attractive books. And I know Cambridge has spent a lot of money on the covers of their books and everything, so they look good. Learners feel good using them, reading them. And it's also important that learners choose their own books. You know, I've seen things like reading circles, which are good ideas in principle, where a teacher will have like one book that they read to all their students or something. This can be okay, this works. But for me, it's more motivating for the learners if they choose their own books. They feel comfortable reading something that they want to read, that they're interested in. Not everyone's going to be interested in science fiction. You know, another person might want murder mystery. Or romance or something. It's very, very important learners choose their own books. And if they don't like the book, like I said earlier, they can easily drop it and choose something else. Really, really important, this. Okay, the cost of books. They're not the cheapest things, but they're not really expensive either. I think for a level 3, level 4 book, what are they, about £4? Something like that? £5?
About... Well,
without the CDs.
You can buy them with or without the audio. They're cheaper without the audio.
I think without the audio, you start as a 320.
They range between £5 and £9. Yeah.
That's with the audio, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the audio CD, I think they start about £3.20 and go to about 7. Okay, but what my learners do to keep the cost down, and this is really, really good tip, is they buy one book. Okay, just one, for like £5, let's say. If you've got 20 learners, they buy one book. But each of them buy a different book. You see what's coming. Okay, and the next week they swap. They've then got 20 weeks worth of reading material for £5. Okay, just by sharing and swapping books with each other. And this is what my learners started doing. I didn't think of this idea, they did. And they started their own libraries. Okay, so my book club, they're now creating their own reading libraries. And it's cheap, it's not expensive at all, and they're getting the maximum benefit from it. Vinetta, she is a perfect model student. Okay, I'm not expecting you all to have students like Vinetta, and nor do I have. You know, I've got one. But she is amazing, and she's probably, I don't know, in her 60s now, working in a factory in a little village called Newark, or it's a town actually called Newark. And she was telling me about the books. She comes to my book club every week, and she's told everybody in her factory about the books. Okay. Now, there's this thing about reading being a bug. You know, you can get this reading bug and stuff, and one person likes it, it becomes infectious, and the next person likes it, and so on and so on. And what Vanessa told me was absolutely amazing, was that in the factory in Newark, it's a bit too far from Lincoln where I live, so her colleagues can't travel to my book club every week. But she's been telling me all about these books. So what have they been doing? All her colleagues at work have been buying these books, okay, and they read them at work. So in their breaks, in lunchtimes, they're reading. In the toilet, I think they're reading. They're taking the books everywhere they go around work. She says the factory has just got readers all over the place, the Cambridge readers. And I want to go there with a flip cam and just get a video of this. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. But she says they love it, absolutely love it. And they're all talking about it. This is their source of conversation in English now, is the content from the readers and stuff. And this is just in one factory. And absolutely amazing. In fact, another girl who comes to the book club was saying that she works in another factory, and she's been reading in the book club for about a year since it started. And she says now she understands all the manuals and things. I'll get to how the vocabulary works and stuff in a moment. But you know, for the first time, she's starting to understand the instruction manuals and things to a degree, and stuff that she had no idea about before. And she doesn't go to a class; she just reads. That's it. Reluctant readers. This was interesting. When I started this project, which was about a year ago, I had some students in my class who were just not interested at all. They weren't. And not everybody is going to like reading. That's a given, okay? But I think there's more we can do to encourage that. And what my learners were doing, they were talking about the book club in the classroom. So enthusiastically, for about the first 5 minutes of the classroom, they were just chatting and chatting and chatting. And then the reluctant well, they were reluctant, they weren't readers at all. To start with, started thinking, actually, I want a bit of this. And they're like, Jez, can I borrow a book this week? And they slowly started coming, and eventually I had all my students coming to the book club. I'm not saying this is going to happen with you if you decide to do something like this, but